What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from IRL F1 2018 on the PS4 platform, Season 5. This is Round 17 at Australia, and how fitting is it to run Round 17 on the opening weekend of real-life Formula 1, as they were in Australia this weekend as well. And lots to talk about. I've missed the past couple weeks, but I want to thank Sondre and all the others that had filled in for me while I was out. Round 16 was Baku, and just to recap that, very high attrition race that it was. Jack Hoyle took his 4th pole of the year back at round 16 in Baku, and also walked away with his 6th win, while Ville Himalayan came in 2nd, picking up his 3rd podium of the year. And Sondre Sorhaug finished 3rd at Baku. It's his first podium in more than 400 days. Felix Negwer lost out on that podium in the closing moments of the race. He comes home 4th. Lee Kelly with a strong run to 5th. Joshua Daniel came home 6th. Alexander Bastos with another 7th place finish. Tyler Rhodes was 8th. And then 9th through 16th was all DNFs. Ken Vilhoen picked up his 3rd DNF of the year. Louis Quinlan, unfortunately, with his 7th DNF of the year. Jorge Correa, his bad luck continues as well. His 4th DNF of the year. Jay Drawbridge taken out. Unfortunately, his 5th DNF as he still sits 2nd in points. Gabriel Ryan was his 3rd DNF as he came home 13th. Darren Sinclair, who had a very impressive run back in round 13 at Singapore, but couldn't get the job done on the streets of Baku, picks up his 2nd DNF. Brandon Glover picked up his 1st DNF of the year. And Nexus Dynamic, I am not 100% sure who that was, but they came home 16th. They were the first car to crash out. And as we said, it was Jack Hoyle's 4th pole, his 6th win. Ville Himalayan picked up his 3rd podium. That was his first one since round 10 back at Abu Dhabi. And Felix Negwer finished 4th. That was his best finish since round 13. And then there was Louis Quinlan and Jorge Correa, who we talked about a little bit yesterday if you were watching the SRL live stream. But those two drivers lead the leagues collectively with a combined 10 DNFs apiece. So rough season for both of those drivers in both of those leagues. Quinlan has 7th here, 3 at SRL, picked up the 4th one as of yesterday. And same with Korea, he was involved in another wreck yesterday with Quinlan, so he picked up another DNF there for SRL. And we are getting ready to hit the track here at Australia. And we've got Lewis Marshall chiming in on how many people will David Wallbank take out. We've got 20 drivers today, so the chances are very likely that he's going to take out at least one. Wallbank doesn't have the greatest history within league racing. Young chap that wants to try and make a name for himself. Australia is going to be a tough place to do it, and Australia has been a place for quite some drama. Past winners here have been Kiki Malika in Season 1, John Hooft in Season 2. There was no race here in Season 3, and of course Matthew Alder took home the win last year in Season 4. But really, Australia was a hot place to be on Season 2. It was the season finale, which came to a very thrilling climax towards the end of the race as we watch some of these cars go out on their outlaps now. The championship contenders, John Hooft and Kiki Malika, battled for the lead with 2 laps to go. And Malika had put a wheel in the grass and spun in the penultimate corner when it was squeezed by John Hooft and went through the infield, collecting Cameron Weston Edwards, who was leading the race. John Hooft snuck by to win the race and win the championship, as Malika only finished 4th that round with no front wings, and Hooft was allowed to keep the win. A very controversial win at the time, which eventually led to the retirement of Kiki Malika, who only raced 4 races in Season 3 before calling it quits. Past pole sitters have been Kiki Malika back in Season 1, Jamie Broughton, who we haven't heard from in a very long time in Season 2, and then Matthew Alder in Season 4. And Kiki Malika obviously won Season 1. Cameron Weston Edwards came home 2nd that day. Neil Dolan was 3rd. In Season 2, John Hooft took home the win. Noah Smith was finishing 2nd. And Jamie Broughton had come home 3rd. And in Season 4 last year was Matthew Alder walking away with the win. Gabriel Ryan, who's not racing with us today, took home 2nd place. And Reese Bibby, who we had at the beginning of this year, he came home 3rd. Here's a bit of Australia race history, and that's for strategies today. The best strategy is probably going to be a one-stopper. A lot of guys recommending bringing super softs to softs or softs to supers, but you've got three choices: ultras, supers, and softs being the hardest compound. And obviously, ultras are going to run you somewhere between 5 and 7 laps, depending on how hard you run. It is a little bit overcast. If that translates to the race, the tire temperatures might stay down. You might be able to run them a little longer. Super softs will last you 9 to 12 laps, while the softs you'll be able to run 17 to 21. Now, the pole to win ratio here is 67%, so getting pole is going to be key as we watch Jack Hoyle set the fastest time already with a 1:19.664. Followed by a GP1 Fletcher, that is Jay Fletcher, with a 1:19.928, and Saba Siktu coming across the line third quickest so far, 1:28.28, followed by Brandon Glover, and Jay Drawbridge jumps to the top of the charts, 1:19.496. So the times are starting to come in here. 14 minutes left to play in the session. And this race also has, speaking of overcast, it also has a 33% wet race ratio, so wet could be in the forecast for today. And Jorge Correa has chimed in on the live chat. Lewis Marshall asked, how many drivers would David Wallbank take out? Jorge Correa assumes he'll be at least one of the drivers that gets taken out, unfortunately. So 11 cars have set a time so far. Jay Drawbridge at the top of the charts, 1:19.496. Sondre does bring up a good point there. You'll see a lot of the drivers today will be wearing an all-black helmet. That is to commemorate the passing of Formula One race director Charlie Whiting, who passed over the weekend. Idea was brought to us by the league owner, Cameron Weston Edwards. SRL ran black helmets yesterday as a part of it as well, to commemorate the loss of Charlie Whiting, and obviously thoughts and prayers go out to the families involved in New Zealand's mass shooting over the weekend as well. A lot of guys heading into the pits. Run down the driver lineup here real quick. Jay Drawbridge, your fastest driver, followed by Jack Hoyle, Jay Fletcher, Saba Siktu, Brandon Glover, Tyler Rhodes, Joshua Dangle, Canfield Hoon. Dan from the 86 is a newcomer, and that is Dave, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. James Hallworth, Lee Kelly, Felix Negwer, Thomas Scott, Milay Himalayan, Jorge Correa, Louis Quinlan, Sondre Sorhaug, David Wallbank, Samuel Nazar, and Alexander Bastos, rounding out 20 drivers, almost a full grid, a couple of newcomers and a couple of old-comers. Don't have the greatest history trying to make a comeback. We'll pick up Louis Quinlan, who just came across the line with a 1:22.411, good enough for 9th quickest. He had a really good qualifying effort yesterday at SRL in the McLaren. Unfortunately, got caught up in an opening lap melee that took him, Sandro Doyas, and Jorge Correa out of contention for the race. You see he drops a wheel there in the grass. Caution in sector 1. 5 drivers yet to set a time. 6 drivers yet to set a time. Oh, and it looks like Quinlan cut the corner there at 11 and 12 and ran wide. It's probably going to invalidate his time. Samuel Nazar has gone 6th quickest, 1:21.725. Quinlan dives into the pits. We'll pick up Felix Negwer. Negwer started the season off strong. Was sitting 4th in points. He's going to dive into the pits. That's last year's champion. Caution in sector 3 as we pick up Milay Himalayan. Renault. And he makes a last-ditch effort into the pits. And Jorge Correa has just retired from the session. He's 15th quickest, 1:24.984. So it looks like he may have crashed out, unfortunately. The good news is, if he has a DNF in qualifying, he still has the race he can go through, so hopefully his bad luck will only be for qualifying. Pick up Thomas Scott in the other Force India. Thomas Scott has struggled a little bit this year. Hasn't made every race. Does have a couple of mid-pack finishes, 7th and 8th place. He has put some points on the board this year. He's had a few DNFs as well. Oh, it's very twitchy. Oh my goodness. Hard into the wall. Caught the curbing at 12 and just went head on into the wall. That would have been a brutal accident if that was real life. And you see some of the other cars coming by. Looks like that was Louis Quinlan. There goes one of the McLarens. That may have been Jay Drawbridge. No, that was the other McLaren of Tyler Rhodes, it may have looked like. Here comes Drawbridge now through the section. Ooh, and look at that. Scott's car still sitting there on the road. A massive crash for Thomas Scott. He didn't even get to set a time. He was on a hot lap. So we've lost 2 drivers so far in qualifying alone as we picked up Jay Drawbridge. Drawbridge trying to improve his time. Jack Hoyle's going to the top of the charts with a 1:19.370, but Jay Drawbridge takes it back, 1:19.313. And Drawbridge leads the league this year in pole positions. He's got 5 pole positions in the year, but he hasn't had a pole position since round 12 back in Sochi. Meanwhile, the newcomer Jay Fletcher has gone 3rd quickest so far. He's one of the 3 drivers that have broken into the 1:19s. Jay Drawbridge and Jack Hoyle, obviously the top 2. Jay Fletcher there with a 1:19.596 sitting in 3rd. Looks like he's going to pull off to the side and let that car go through. That was one of the Red Bulls. Obviously Fletcher's going to be diving into the pits. Pick up Sondre Sorhaug, who's been showing a little bit of an improvement in some pace the past few races. Had a great qualifying effort a few rounds ago. That was back at round 14 of Bahrain. Had a great qualifying effort. Started on the front row. He picked up a podium last time out of Baku. So he's starting to show some pace. Pick up Ville Himalayan again. Ville has yet to set a time. Very wide there, drops the left side tires with the gravel. He is going to come across the line. 1:23.33, good enough for 4th on the grid. We've got 3 drivers. 1st through 3rd has run 1:19s, and then 4th through 6th have broken into the 1:20s. From there, you've got 7th, 8th, and 9th. Those next 3 drivers are running in the 1:21s, and then after that, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers all running 1:22s. Meanwhile, Lee Kelly, who's been very impressive so far this year, he's an F2 driver. He's been called up to race in F1. And here we see Brandon Glover. Looks like he's had an off. Looks like he's lost his front wing. I'm going to assume that was possibly at the 11-12 complex. So he is struggling here in qualifying as well. And Ken Vilhoen, who was 9th quickest, has also gone a DNF. He had the 10th quickest time. We pick up Quinlan, who's struggling for grip, possibly trying to put some heat into the tires. Caution in sector 3. And Quinlan is going to dive into the pits. I'm going to pick up Felix Negwer again. Started off the year strong. He had struggled mid-season. Looks like he's on an out lap. Looks like Negwer is going to dive into the pits at the end of this. You see one of the Red Bulls go by. Delay Himalayan heading into the pits. James Hallworth. Now he looks like he's on a hot lap. He's 1.2 seconds faster than his last sector, than his best sector 1 timing. Currently 11th quickest on the grid. Good run through 11 and 12. Car looked pretty stable there. Runs into the grass just a little bit there on the right side. Looks like a pretty solid lap for James Hallworth. Looking to see if he can improve upon his time. So far, 121. And he's not going to. He's 8/10 off of his best time, so he's still 11th quickest. And now he is 12th quickest as Alexander Bastos just went 121.520. 2 minutes left to play, and we've got the big hitters coming out for their outlap. Here's Jay Drawbridge, your current pole sitter, on his outlap, followed by Jack Hoyle. So it looks like Hoyle might be ahead of him. Hoyle's at the 11-12 area. Here comes Jay Drawbridge. He's now entering 11-12 area. So we've got a lot of guys heading out on their outlaps. Jack Hoyle of the top 3 is going to be the first one across the line. Here goes Hoyle to start a hot lap. And he should be able to cross the line. If he doesn't get pole position on this run, he'll cross the line with enough time to get one more lap in. He's got some traffic he's going to have to contend with. There's a lot of cars that have come out of the pits just now, and this is going to be disastrous for him to try and set a fast time. Jack Hoyle with lap traffic to contend with. So the Mercedes there get out of the way. Don't want to ruin the lap of Jack Hoyle, your championship points leader. Cuts it very close there. Runs inside. Woo! Comes across the nose of the Force India, it looks like. That was one of the Toro Rossos, I'm sorry. So Jack Hoyle, he's going to get ready to come across the line. He'll come across the line. He'll have enough time to try one more hot lap. Caution in sector 3. Does Jack Hoyle have anything for Jay Drawbridge's time? 1:19.105 to the top of the charts. Where's Jay Drawbridge? Drawbridge coming through the last couple of corners now as well. He might have enough time to set one more lap if he doesn't get it. And no, he does not approve upon his time. Jack Hoyle calls it a day. Joshua Dangle just retired from the session as well. We're going to pick up Jay Fletcher. Vile Himalayan calls it a day. David Wallbank calls it a day. Jay Fletcher, one more corner remaining. Oh, he cut that very close. His right side was almost in the grass. Comes across the line. 1:19.683, still only good enough for third fastest. Saba Siktu is calling it a day. Lee Kelly is done. Here comes Felix Negwer through 11 and 12. Drops to the left sides in the grass. You see all the debris spread out at part of the track there. Felix Negwer, 7th quickest so far. Last ditch effort to see if he can improve upon his time. 2 more corners remaining. Felix Negwer comes across the line. He improves his time, but not his position. He's 9th quickest. Brandon Glover jumps to 6th. And it looks like that is going to be it for qualifying. So Jack Hoyle tying Jay Drawbridge for the league lead in pole positions with 5. That is his 5th one of the year. Unbelievable qualifying session. And here is your starting grid order. This is Jack Hoyle, followed by Jay Drawbridge, Jay Fletcher, Vile Himalayan, Saba Siktu, Brandon Glover, Lee Kelly, Samuel Nazar, Felix Negwer, Joshua Dangle rounding out the top 10, then Tyler Rhodes, Dave Yigdam, followed by Ken Vilhoon, Alexander Basto, Sondre Sorhaug, Louis Quinlan, James Hallworth, Jorge Correa, and Thomas Scott and David Wallbank. Wallbank did not set a time in his Ferrari. Thomas Scott had that hellacious crash at the 11-12 complex that sent him head on into the wall. So it looks like clear skies for the race. We've got Sandro Dulius in on the live chat as well, along with Francis McGinn from SRL. And Sandro is hoping see if Jorge can finish a race. As we talked earlier, Jorge has just had a rash of bad luck this year between IRL and SRL, along with Louis Quinlan. Those two were wrapped up in the crash yesterday at Hungary with Sandro Dulius in the SRL series. Be sure to check that out. That was a very interesting race. So getting set here, we're going to do the formation lap. So Jack Hoyle is your pole sitter, and he'll be looking to extend on his points lead, a very commanding points lead at that. Jay Drawbridge, who is his closest rival, has been struggling to keep pace with him. He is a pad driver versus a wheel driver. We'll see how he does today. And Jay Fletcher will be starting 3rd. He'll be looking to try and hang on to that 3rd spot or improve upon it in his IRL F1 debut. And Vile Himalayan picked up a pole or podium position last time out. He'll be looking to try and do it again. Saba Siktu showing great pace during qualifying, starting 5th. He'll be looking to try and work his way up to the podiums, along with Brandon Glover, who's starting behind him. Lee Kelly is starting 7th. Just had to sneeze. Lee Kelly will be starting 7th. He got called up from F2. He's been very, very impressive in his few F1 races that he's done this year. Samuel Nazar as well, F2 driver, and Felix Negwer starting 9th. Your last year's champion, started off strong. He'll be looking to try and work his way through the field to put some points on the board. And Joshua Dangle starting back in 10th. Behind him, Tyler Rhodes. And he'll be looking to try and make his way through the field, hopefully try and help his teammate. David Neeham will be starting on 12th, making his F1 debut, followed by Ken Vilhoon. And Alexander Bastos will be starting 14th. He'll be looking to make his way into the points once again mid-pack. Sondre Sorhaug had a podium his last time out. Can he do it again starting this deep in the field? And Louis Quinlan will be starting 16th. Louis will be looking to just finish a race. James Hallworth has struggled in the Ferrari this year. He'll be looking to try and put some points on the board. And Jorge Correa crashed out in qualifying. He also will be looking to just finish the race. Thomas Scott with that hellacious crash in qualifying. He'll be looking to try and make up for that. And David Wallbank will be starting at the rear of the field. And he'll be looking to try and remake a name for himself. He does not have the best history in league racing, so we'll see what he can accomplish today, starting at the end of the field. So we wait for the 5 red lights. Lights go out. Time to run with LeBrun. Bad start by Jack Hoyle. Terrible start by Jack Hoyle. And this is going to be big time gain for Jay Drawbridge and Jay Fletcher. We've got a lot of shuffling going on in the back, and there's bits and pieces of wing flying everywhere. And Jack Hoyle has fallen all the way to 6th spot. The opening start and first few corners. So that is big time now for Jay Drawbridge if he can keep ahead of Jay Fletcher and relay him. We've got caution sector 1 and 2. Back here in the back of the field. Looks like that's Jorge Correa bringing up the rear of the field. All the cars really close together so far. So right now it's the J and J show on this opening lap. Drawbridge leading Fletcher, followed by Ville Himalayan. Sabasiktu is up to 4th. Brandon Glover into 5th. Jack Hoyle is 6th. And he's got Felix Negwer and Lee Kelly battling it out behind him. Swarm of F1 cars right here. Looks like 6th through about 10th are all really close together. Joshua Dangle loses a spot. Oh, and Jack Hoyle is left. What has happened to Jack Hoyle? Looks like Hoyle has retired the car in pit lane. Looks like Sondre Sorhaug is leaving. Oh, and Louis Quinlan now. What has happened to Quinlan? Oh, there's a huge wreck. Oh, there was a huge wreck. We just missed it. There you see the cars in the background. Wallbank, Alexander Bastos, and Louis Quinlan all done for the day. Unbelievable. Jack Hoyle has retired from the session as well. And it looks like Jorge Correa is having some issues with grip. What is going on in the back of this field? Unbelievable. Meanwhile, while this is taking place, Jay Drawbridge has pulled out to an 0.8 of a second lead over Jay Fletcher. He just set the fastest lap. Unbelievable turn of events. We've got a lot of chatter going on in the live chat. Looks like Dave Neeham has gone into the pits. He's pitting from 15th. I'm sure he caught some of that melee that we saw. this is stellar news for Jay Drawbridge if he can capitalize on this. And Jack Coyle is rejoining the session, so possibly some internet issues for Jack Hoyle's car. Possibly some internet problems. Hoyle's car is running AI all the way back in 15th. He had a terrible start, and if he's having internet issues, that may explain his terrible start. Might be a little bit of a desync. His lights didn't turn off when everybody else's did. And now Jay Drawbridge has pulled out to a 1.7 gap over Jay Fletcher. Fletcher's got Vile Himalayan closing in on him for the third spot. He's followed by Saba Singtu, Brandon Glover, and Felix Negwer. Then you've got Lee Kelly, who has been trying to swap positions back and forth with Felix for a number of laps now. And David Wallbank, Alexander Bastos, and Louis Quinlan done for the day. Head to the battle for third now. So things have settled for the time being. A couple of close battles on track. We're watching the battle for second here. This is Jay Fletcher, followed by Vile Himalayan. Himalayan just picked up a 3-second time penalty. That is your battle for second spot. Lewis Marshall wants to know about tire data. It looks like your top 10 cars are all running on ultra softs. Can Vilhoon is the first driver on softs, running in 12th. So, I'm sorry, Thomas Scott's running on super soft, so is Tyler Rhodes and Samuel Nazar. My old eyes don't see as well as they used to. So Vile Himalayan still trying to rattle the cage of Jay Fletcher here for the second spot, and a 5-second stop and go penalty for Jorge Correa, speeding in the pit lane. So his bad luck continues. Your next closest battle is going to be the McLaren of Tyler Rhodes and Lee Kelly. And here you see Rhodes to the inside, almost makes contact with Kelly. This is a three-way battle for the 7th spot. This is Lee Kelly, Tyler Rhodes, and Samuel Nazar. 7th, 8th, and 9th. And if you go a little further back, the next closest battle would be the battle for 11th, which would be Can Vilhoon and Thomas Scott. Rhodes makes the move. He's down on the inside of Kelly. Ooh, they all run a little wide there. Cars are very squirrely right now. And it looks like a 3-second time penalty for Saba Singtu. Unbelievable opening set of laps here at the Australian Grand Prix. We've got a caution in Sector 3 now. Pick up Jack Coyle. That is Joshua Dangle diving into the pits. Dangle looks like he's having some traction issues. That's going to move Jack Coyle back into 13th. And Dangle picks up a 5-second stop and go penalty. But I think it's safe to say Jack Coyle has probably regained control of his car. Looks like he lost internet connection, rejoined the session, regained control of the car. He's currently running 13th as we pick up Vile Himalayan, still trying to find a way around Jay Fletcher. And while these two have battled it out for the second spot, Jay Drawbridge has moved out to a 2.5+ second lead over these two. Meanwhile, Samuel Nazar is still trying to work on the backside of Lee Kelly for the 8th spot. So we're on lap 7. We should start to see some pit stops. Oh, look at this. What is that? Samuel Nazar lost control of the car. Banged to the left side of the car against the wall there. Lost him a little bit of time. Dumps the right side tires there into the grass. Lap 7, we saw Joshua Dangle head into the pits. We should see some other cars start diving in between now and lap 12 to swap out some of these tires. Emma Lane is still trying to find a way around Jay Fletcher. Dave Needham picks up a 3-second time penalty. No takers on pit road just yet. Jorge Correa just made a move around Begum to pick up the 15th spot. And meanwhile, we continue to monitor your championship points leader, Jack Hoyle, who is currently running in 13th. He is 13 seconds behind James Hallworth for 12th. We've got some action going on down here. This is Thomas Scott trying to hold off Canville Hoon. James Hallworth just jumped. Got around Samuel Nazar as he dived into the pits. And here comes Hoyle. Hoyle is going to pick up the 12th spot from Samuel Nazar's pit stop. Ooh, Jay Fletcher got really close to the wall that time. And 3-second time penalty for Dave Needham. Now Joshua Dangle picks up a time penalty, and it looks like Fletcher and Himalayan are both going to dive into the pits. It's going to hand second spot over to Samba Siktu. And here comes Brandon Glover, followed closely by Tyler Rhodes. Rhodes dives to the inside, got the DRS advantage down the front stretch, and Rhodes is going to easily make that pass. Oh, but look at this, Glover trying to come back with a crossover move. Now they run side by side. It's a drag race down into turn 3. Glover's on the outside, and Jorge Correa has retired from the session. There is his car sitting sideways in the middle of the straightaway. There it is at the 11 and 12 complex. So Jorge Correa and Louis Quinlan continue their rash of DNFs. Which is a real shame. Both of those drivers, Jorge Correa and Louis Quinlan, last year on F1 2017 for the PS4 platform, both did fairly well as mid-pack drivers. Jorge Correa even had a podium last year. Quinlan was a fairly good mid-pack driver with his teammate in Force India. And 11 and 12 complex has just taken its fair share of victims this weekend. And I'm even being told from SRL last year, Louis Quinlan had a P2, so he too had a podium finish in Brazil last year. So Quinlan and Correa, fairly decent drivers, have just struggled mightily. And Jay Drawbridge pits from the top spot along with some of the other drivers, so that puts Tyler Rhodes into position. And then we've got a three-way battle here. This is Thomas Scott, Ken Vilhoen. 3 wide down into turn 3. This is not going to work, gentlemen. Oh, and they're rubbing side by side. The two loops bump wheels. The Force India goes through. And the wheels are still side by side, and they touch again. And now that is Ken Vilhoen. Thomas Scott being passed by Jay Fletcher. Fletcher on the fresher tires. Oh, but to the inside! Look at this! The Force India almost made it contact. Thomas Scott being very brave. And again, 11 and 12 to the inside. It's very sketchy through here. Scott runs wide. He's got Himalayan all over the back of him on the fresher tires. He's definitely the faster driver. He's going to make Himalayan go the long way around. And that was some very tight racing there for those few corners. Thomas Scott holding on to 6th spot now. Fletcher and Himalayan have made it by, but that's going to cost them some time as they try to pursue Jay Drawbridge, who's in the catbird seat right now, because when Tyler Rhodes decides to pit, along with Brandon Glover, the lead is going to be handed back over to Jay Drawbridge. Meanwhile, we've got Thomas Scott deciding to come into the pits. That's going to move Jack Hoyle into 10th. So your championship points leader has now finally made his way back into the points. He has another championship contender in front of him, Felix Negwer. Negwer, last I saw and checked, he was 4th in points, still mathematically in contention. So Hoyle struggled at the start, lost connection with the car, thinking he had a little bit of an internet desync at the start, which is what cost him so many spots. He had fallen to 6th. Then it looks like he had an internet issue and the car went AI as he pitted and dropped all the way to the rear of the field. Managed to get reconnected. What has happened to James Hallworth? Oh, it looks like Hallworth. So Negwer and Hoyle both win by Hallworth, and I'm assuming this is right outside the 11 and 12 complex again. So 11 and 12 has been Calamity Corner all weekend. Takes another victim. Brandon Glover dives into the pits, so now it's a 1-2 McLaren. Tyler Rhodes leading his teammate by 10 seconds, Jay Drawbridge, but Tyler Rhodes has yet to pit. Glover goes into the pits. He's going to come out 9th. Everybody moves up a spot. The battle rages on between Saba Siktu and Ken Vilhoen. Meanwhile, Jay Fletcher. Oh, Joshua Dangle has retired from the session. He was running 16th, and right now we've got a battle starting to materialize here. This is Jay Fletcher closing in on Jay Drawbridge. These two running 1 and 2 at the start of this race. Jack Hoyle had his issues. Now, in the first stint, Drawbridge was able to gap Fletcher by about 2.6 seconds. And he actually had a pretty substantial lead over these two as they got caught up in traffic with Thomas Scott when they came out of the pits. And look at all the buttons on that frickin' steering wheel, lit up like a Christmas tree. Good Lord, red, green, yellow, all the colors of the rainbow. Jay Drawbridge just set the fastest lap of the 1:23. Tyler Rhodes finally pits. So now this is your battle for first. Jay Drawbridge closely followed by Jay Fletcher. Ville Himalayan not that far behind either. Then he goes back to 6 seconds back is Saba Siktu. He's followed by Ken Vilhoen, Tyler Rhodes, who is being pursued by Felix Negwer and Jack Hoyle. Hoyle is up to 8th. Oh no, and Saba Siktu has crashed. Oh, you see, he's against the wall there. The left side of the wall must have hit broken the suspension, so Saba 6-2 is out. That's going to move everybody up another position. So now Jack Hoyle is into 7th, and he's making a move on Negwer. Hoyle slams the door through the 11-12 complex. And now Jack Hoyle has got his adrenaline pumping. The DRS slot is open as he heads into the next set of corners. Oh, and he gets a little squirrely coming out of there trying to get the power down. Tyler Rhodes is Jay Drawbridge's teammate. Will Rhodes try and hold up Hoyle at all? Try and help his teammate in the point standings and in the race? Hoyle's going to get a little bit of a slipstream. He doesn't have the DRS advantage. Actually, it looks like he did. The slot was open. Down in a turn 3, DRS open again. Oh, and look at this move by Jack Hoyle. He tried an over-under, but it didn't quite work out for him. Meanwhile, Jay Fletcher is closing in. Oh, he was just under a second to Jay Drawbridge, but it pulled back out again. And Fletcher just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Tyler Rhodes fighting very hard to hang on to that 5th spot. Hoyle getting the back into that car, a little squirrely. Oh, and a lock up there on the left front from Tyler Rhodes. We're going to have to jump to battle for first here, because Jay Fletcher has found some time. He is on the backside of Jay Drawbridge. Dave Meekdom just picked up a 3-second time penalty. The J and J show continues on. Meanwhile, we've got Tyler Rhodes is called back up to the backside of Can Vilhoen, and now we've got a 3-way battle involving Jack Hoyle for essentially what is going to be the 4th spot. This is 4th, 5th, and 6th. Meanwhile, Fletcher's back at the front trying to make a run at Jay Drawbridge, trying to go around the outside. Tries to make a run down to the next corner. So close these guys are to touching. And now Drawbridge is going to be at the disadvantage because, oh, and now Hoyle makes a 2-for-1 move. He gets around Tyler Rhodes and Can Vilhoen. Jack Hoyle is into 4th. Meanwhile, Jay Fletcher is trying to get around Jay Drawbridge as they hit through the 1-2 complex. Unbelievable racing going on all over the circuit right now. And to the inside, Fletcher, they bang wheels. Drawbridge trying to hold him off, tries to push him wide. Here comes Fletcher again. He's in the slipstream of Drawbridge's car. Gets a good run coming out of that corner. To the inside. Drawbridge going to try and outbrake him. And now the run down the, I want to say the backstretch, but it's not very straight. This big sweeping left-hander to the 11 and 12 complex. Slot open. And real quick, we're going to jump back to Tyler Rhodes as he's all over the backside of Jack Hoyle. So Rhodes hasn't given up on this fight. To the outside, Tyler Rhodes. Big lock up there, little puff of smoke. And again, we jump back to the battle for the lead. Just past halfway in this 29-lap race. Drawbridge can't find a way around. Brandon Glover just managed to find his way around Ken Bilhoon for the 6th spot. Meanwhile, Tyler Rhodes still trying to work on the backside of Jack Hoyle, trying to help his teammate. Rhodes is fighting hard for that 4th spot. Meanwhile, Jay Fletcher trying to find his way around Jay Drawbridge. And while these two are battling it out, Ville Himalayan is starting to close in the gap on these two for the battle for the lead. Lewis Marshall bringing up the fact that Jay needs to be careful of desync. But which Jay, Lewis? Which Jay? They're both running 1-2. Drawbridge has been misfortunate this year with some desync issues. He's been taken out a number of times, not of his own doing. In fact, I don't think any of his DNFs this year have been an at-fault DNF. And very wide, Jay Fletcher runs through that corner, slaps the left side, tires against the wall. And Fletcher down, he's got the DRS slot open, down into turn 3, tries the outside again. Drawbridge is going to try to push him wide, but Fletcher's got the inside line going into the next corner. They're side by side as they come back out. And Fletcher makes the move to the outside and slams the door, cuts across the nose of Drawbridge, and now Jay Fletcher is your new leader. And I am being corrected, Jay Drawbridge didn't have a DNF at Sochi, which was of his own fault. Drawbridge now is going to have the DRS advantage. If he can stick with Fletcher, he might be able to get that position back. Very tight racing here at the front. Meanwhile, Tyler Rhodes is all over the back of Jack Hoyle still as they enter turn 12. Tyler Rhodes has got the slot open. Hoyle's going to take the more defensive line. To the outside goes Tyler Rhodes. Has he got enough speed to carry it around the outside? Puff of smoke. Hoyle pushes him wide into the grass. And Tyler Rhodes lost a little bit of ground there in that scenario, but Jay Drawbridge still working on the backside of Jay Fletcher. Meanwhile, Ville Himalayan has got this lead cut down to 2.2 seconds. It was 3 seconds a couple of laps ago. So Himalayan is closing in on this. 10 laps to go in this Australian Grand Prix. James Hallworth picks up a 3-second time penalty. Tyler Rhodes has lost some ground to Jack Hoyle. He's about 0.7 of a second off. You see Jay Fletcher drops them right side tires into the grass, cutting that corner very tight. And Lee Kelly has retired from the session. He was currently running 10th. Oh, and his car's in the middle of the road. Lee Kelly is done for the day. That's going to move Felix Negwer into 10th, picking up a very crucial championship point. And now Ville Himalayan has the lead cut down to less than 2 seconds, about 1.5 seconds. So Ville Himalayan is coming. He is pursuing the J&J show. These guys are all on soft tires. And you take a look there at Jack Hoyle, 17 laps on his softs. Now those tires are primed to run about 21 laps, so Hoyle is going to be hard-pressed to run those to the end of the race. It'll be interesting to see if Hoyle has to make another pit stop, switches over to a softer tire to minimize position loss, or if he tries to stay out on those tires. And it looks like Tyler Rhodes almost had Jack Hoyle. And it's funny that this whole season, it seems like Jack Hoyle has had a McLaren in his rearview mirror, and most of the season it's been Jay Drawbridge, and Hoyle does pit. Hoyle does pit. Moves Tyler Rhodes into fourth, so now the battle rages on at the front of the pack. Sondre Sorhaug apparently just ran the fastest lap for, according to Lewis Marshall, and while that would mean something in real F1 if he was running in the top 10, it means nothing here, nothing in IRL. And he just lost a position to Dave Meagum. What has happened to Sondre? Lost a ton of time. Jack Hoyle comes out in the 8th position, just got around Thomas Scott to move into 7th. He's going to be 15 seconds behind Samuel Nazar for 6th. Jay Drawbridge, if he wants to capitalize on this, really needs to get past Jay Fletcher. But Vile Himalayan has caught this battle for the lead now. Drawbridge and Himalayan are both going to have DRS advantage. This has been an unbelievable run between these two drivers here. Fletcher got a good run coming out of that corner. He is very close to Fletcher. Fletcher tries to take the more defensive line. Drawbridge stays put, but Vile Himalayan has closed in the gap here. You can throw a blanket over the top 3. 7 laps to go. 3-second time penalty for Felix Negwer as he runs 9th. DRS slots open. Drawbridge with a little wiggle coming out of that last corner there. Oh, and Drawbridge drops the right side tires in the grass. Oh, and he just slapped the wall, and he's done! He's crashed into the wall! Jay Drawbridge, of his own doing, slams into the wall, and Jay Fletcher says there can only be one Highlander, as he's going to continue running in first. Vile Himalayan going to try and pursue him to pick up that first spot. Tyler Rhodes in the other McLaren going to pick up 3rd spot. Samuel Nazar comes through, the car is gone, and Jack Hoyle now can rest comfortably running in what is going to be the 6th spot. And Jay Drawbridge picks up his 6th DNF of the year. And Jack Hoyle just ran the fastest lap, 1:21.343. James Hallworth is now done for the session. What has happened to him? So the battle rages on. Jay Drawbridge with misfortune. Jay Drawbridge is he is the epitome of a power hitter in baseball. He either hits a home run or he strikes out, and today he has struck out big time. James Hallworth officially leads the session. So between all that, that moves Dave Meagum into the 10th spot on his F1 debut. Drawbridge says he was taken out by the wind. At least he's got a sense of humor about his misfortunes, but that is unfortunately his 6th DNF of the year. So Jay Fletcher, in the closing moments of this race, trying to hold off Ville Himalayan, which is going to be that's going to be a tall order. Himalayan's got 3 podiums this year. Fairly certain one of them is a win. Four laps remaining in this very intense Australian Grand Prix. And Himalayan's got a good run heading down towards turn 3. Fletcher tries to move to the outside to make that line for the apex. And yes, Ville Himalayan won at France, Paul Ricard circuit. And that was actually way back, round 5. Yeah, I was going to say, my notes say Felix Negwer won that race, so it was Ville Himalayan won at Hungary, round 7. You continue to watch this battle for the very crucial 11 and 12 complex. Very squirrely through there. Himalayan's going to have the DRS advantage. Oh, and Himalayan to the outside! Still got outbraked by Jay Fletcher on the inside, though. Himalayan loses a little bit of time through that last corner there, but he's going to have the DRS advantage to try and make up that time. Through 1 and 2. And Big C wants to know what the penalty situation is at the top for the top 2, and honestly, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they both have a couple of time penalties. Whether or not that's going to be a factor at the end of the race, I'm not 100% sure. It's hard for me to keep tally. Drawbridge is telling me they both got 1. So that would be inconsequential at this point. They would still be battling for position. Dave Negwer picked up a 3-second time penalty there, speaking of that. Through 11 and 12 once more. And SRL is telling me, I'm sorry, IRL is telling me that Fletcher actually has 2. So if that is the case, Jay Fletcher is fighting for possibly trying to force Ville into a mistake. If Ville made a mistake and crashed out like Jay Drawbridge did, the penalties would be inconsequential because Tyler Rhodes is 24 seconds plus behind this battle, running all by his lonesome in 3rd. However, Brandon Glover is closing in on Tyler Rhodes for that 3rd spot in the closing stages of this race. And Cam Vilhoun picks up a 3-second time penalty. So the situation becomes, if Ville Himalayan is not aware of the time penalties, then he is going to be fighting for position, which could ultimately cost him a mistake. If he's watching the live stream and hears that we're talking about Fletcher has 2-3-second time penalties, he should just maintain his pace and position on track without fighting Fletcher for the top spot, because Himalayan would ultimately get the win at the end of this. When you're a race car driver, a win doesn't really count unless you cross the line first. Himalayan to the inside, down into the grass, crossover move by Fletcher. Himalayan tries to get the power down, the back end kicks out on him. Fletcher back to the inside, retakes the lead. Himalayan almost loses the back end. And Meekum picks up a 5-second stop-and-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Inconsequential. That might actually cost him, though, because Sondre Sorhaug is behind him. Two laps to go. Lewis Marshall says, imagine if the top two crash out. Tyler would walk away with the win. It could very well happen with the way these two are swapping positions, fighting for first. And Sondre's got a 5-second stop-and-go penalty diving into the pit lane. And again, Himalayan thought about it, thought better. And a 3-second time penalty for Brandon Glover as he was trying to close in on Jack Hoyle. Actually, no, that was Hoyle was trying to close it on Tyler Rhodes. Hoyle has gotten by Glover. So Jack Hoyle now is looking to take away that third spot from Tyler Rhodes, and we saw them two scrapping it out earlier. Here we go, coming across the line to start the final lap. Himalayan has fallen off the pace a little bit, 0.7 of a second behind. Meanwhile, Hoyle is closing in on Tyler Rhodes. Lock up on the left front from Tyler Rhodes. Rhodes is on the softs. Looks like Hoyle's on these super softs. Hoyle's going to have a good run down at the front stretch here. And Hoyle takes the spot. What a recovery drive by Jack Hoyle today, moving into the third spot. And Ville Himalayan, as we were watching that, has gotten by Jay Fletcher to take the top spot. And it looks like Fletcher might be struggling with grip here as this is the final lap. Unbelievable run today by a lot of these drivers. We started with 20. We're going to end with 11. Oh, and look at this. Fletcher tries to dive bomb at the very last second. Almost made contact with Ville Himalayan, but Himalayan is going to come across the line. Oh no, and Jack Hoyle's retired from the session. What has happened to Jack Hoyle? It must have been at 11 and 12 where we picked up Felix Negwer through the 11 and 12 complex. I don't see Hoyle's car anywhere, but they both pick up the position right there, so it had to be at 11 and 12. Tyler Rhodes picks up a podium position. Brandon Glover comes home fourth. Samuel Nazar is going to be fifth. Felix Negwer trying to hold off Thomas Scott. So Felix Negwer picks up sixth. Thomas Scott will be seventh. Ken Vilhoon, a hard-fought eighth position today. And Dave Meekum has parked his car. Oh, he's banged the wall as well. The right front suspension is done. He'll pick up the 10th spot. Unbelievable drive today. What a way to finish a race. And Jack Hoyle takes the third spot and then crashes out on the last lap at 11 and 12. There's your winner, Ville Himalayan, a hard-fought drive from him. Jay Fletcher and Tyler Rhodes rounding out your podium. What an amazing race today here in Australia. This has been far more entertaining than the actual F1 race. So here is your finishing order. This is Vilay Himalayan picking up his second win of the year. Jay Fletcher finishing second on his F1 debut. Tyler Rhodes coming home third. Brandon Glover with a good run to fourth. Samuel Nazar is fifth. Thomas Scott sixth after time penalties. Felix Negwer drops to seventh. Ken Vilhoun is eighth. Jack Hoyle, even though he had a DNF, gets ninth. Dave Meagum on his F1 debut is 10th. And then 11th through the rest of the field, 11th through 20th, is Sondre Sorhaug. Jay Drawbridge with another DNF. James Hallworth, Lee Kelly, Saba Siktu, Joshua Dangle, Jorge Correa, David Wallbank trying to restart his comeback with a DNF. Alexander Bastos crashes out, and Louis Quinlan rounding out your top 20. And this has been an unbelievable race today amongst these guys. And what can I say? That unbelievable race. So that was IRL round 17 at Australia F1 2018. That is the F1 League. So be sure to check out more IRL action next week as we head to round 18, which is going to be the Monaco Grand Prix. And after today's race, I can't even imagine how hectic Monaco is going to be for these guys. That'll be next week. They'll run F2 on Saturday, and they'll run F1 League on Sunday. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the IRL YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to my channel, KAMIKAZE-FOX. You can also check out IRL online at internationalracingleague-irl.com. And what can I say? An unbelievable race today. Be sure to check us out online for news, stats, points, and find out who the driver of the day is. Driver of the day from me, it's a hard decision. I want to say Jay Fletcher because it was his F1 debut and he fought at the front and came home second. But I also want to say Tyler Rhodes because that was a brilliant drive by Tyler Rhodes. And to fight the best in the business right now, which is Jack Hoyle, and give him such a hard time today. It was really a big step for Tyler Rhodes, so my vote's going to go to him, but props to Jay Fletcher on his F1 debut. And be sure to check us out next week at Monaco. That is surely to be a very interesting race. So final thoughts going into next week. Monaco is all about position as far as qualifying goes. I mean, there's a very high pole to win ratio there, but it's also could possibly be a very high attrition race, especially with as wide as the new cars are for 2018. So Monaco should definitely be interesting. So be sure to check that out next week. F2 is going to run on Saturday at 11:30 my time, Eastern Standard Time. And then on Sunday it'll be 11:15 on Sunday, and we'll run the F1 League. And it is sure to be an epic race. So, this is KAMIKAZE-FOX signing off. We will see you guys at the next round.